Welcome to the Kurt Saxon Show, your countdown to the future. First, I want you to take down my phone number in case you want to call. The number is 501-437-2963. In case you didn't get it, here it is again, 501-437-2963. Sorry, but we can't accept collect calls. Tonight's topic is Survive Through a Home Business, from Volume 2 of The Survivor, written in 1977. As our system slows down, unemployment will soar. Revenues for welfare will dwindle due to the scarcity of taxpayers, and the recipients will starve. Less taxes will bankrupt the Social Security system, and the elderly will starve. Industries will shut down, and labor unions will go broke for lack of dues-paying members. Cities will become shooting galleries, and small towns will become garrison city-states. As bad as this might seem now, it has to be, so you might as well prepare to write it out. Your only real hope in the near future is a home business. This will not only give you independence, but it will give you the confidence that destroys fear. A home business has many advantages over being employed by others. First, you don't have to commute to work. Also, being around the home all day provides the best security, as you are usually on hand to defend your home and loved ones. Another big advantage is that a home business is almost tax-free. Everything connected with your business is deductible. Rent, utilities, your car or truck, gas, and just about anything you buy and can claim as a business necessity. You can also deduct any business losses. The factory or office worker can't deduct his rent, car, gas, or any transportation expenses unless he's a traveling salesman or something similar. He must pay more for clothing so as to be presentable to the public and his fellow workers. Working for others is very expensive. Even union dues aren't deductible. So if you work for others, you are a virtual slave. A big slice of your earnings is taken from your paycheck each payday. You never see it. You can't use it, invest it, or even put it in the bank to draw interest until April 15. Many Americans take in millions each year and pay no taxes at all. They know all the loopholes and declare only what they please. The working stiff, however, has no loopholes to speak of, and he can't even cheat on his taxes, at least not where his main earned income is concerned. Another good reason to start a home business is that you can't be fired or laid off. In that sense, it's depression-proof. Of course, if you fail in your business, you've created your own depression. For this reason, you must practice a lot of caution and foresight. Don't quit your job until you are making as much or more from your home business as from your job. Part of the beauty of starting a home business is that you can build it up while you're holding a regular job. There is a lot less risk in starting a home business than if you started a contracting or service business where you had to work full-time. At this point, I want to advise you against the home business come-ons in such magazines as Popular Mechanics. Everyone has seen their ads for home business or to be worked out of the home, such as upholstering, locksmithing, carpet cleaning, TV repair, electrical appliance repair, etc. These ads are all sucker bait. First, they're written by expert ad copywriters to appeal to the ignorant and unskilled. They have their testimonials, usually from the 1 out of 1,000 who did succeed with their businesses. They know very well that most of their customers will not get a return on their investment. A person with the skill and discipline to really apply himself to such a business would be a success at most anything and would have no need for their course. And in most cases, it is simply a correspondence course. Such courses are so expensive, from $200 to $800, the ad writers leave out the price of the course. You have to send away for even more of their advertising. In most cases, if your community can support the businesses they advertise, there is already an established business in that line. But they avoid such considerations. Their aim is to make you believe that an amateur such as yourself can successfully compete with established professionals. This is unrealistic at best. But you might ask, if their deals are really rip-offs, how do they stay in business? Well, you take any ad, full page, costing several $1,000s for each insertion, run month after month, year after year. They couldn't afford these ads if they weren't selling a lot of those courses. But where are their graduates? There should be a locksmith on every corner and a TV repairman in every second house on the block. The truth is that most correspondence schoolers drop the courses after a couple of lessons, and the schools couldn't pay for those ads if they didn't threaten to prosecute the student for payment for part or all of the failed course. Another thing wrong with the majority of such courses is their specialization. Also, for a small tuition fee, you can take night high school or college shop courses on many of the skills these correspondence schools offer. When considering a home business, instead of some exotic line, you should choose a line you're familiar with. Even if you're not so familiar with a certain line, there are so many how-to books on the market that you should be able to find just the material you need. You should reject all lines which would not be essential after the collapse. Okay, here I am. The phone number is 501-437-2963. And the mailing address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And the address is mainly for the introductory packet, which includes the U.S. Militia, Shoestring Entrepreneur, and the David Koresh Last Testament. And for $10, you get all of that, and you'll get a $5 refund on a subscription to any, whatever you're subscribing to, of course. I lost my train of thought there. Oh, and incidentally, after I got this awful chewing out from Pat last night, I decided I would honor her, and I listened to the full hour of William Cooper's broadcast, just following mine. And incidentally, I talked to William Cooper on the phone before I got my show, and he was very encouraging. He's a very nice person, and it's a very interesting show, and we're not competing at all. I don't know if he approves of me, but he's got his message, I've got mine, and there's no reason you shouldn't just stay on the radio and listen to him. So much for that. Anyway, now if you'd like a set of these tapes, they're $6 each or $25 for a week's shows post-paid. And that's Jeffrey's Audio, P.O. Box 326, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And again, my phone number is 501-437-2963, if we're properly connected. So give me a call to let me know that the connection is working. Anyway, also I want to remind you again that you should order the Corona Grain Mill for $40 and $4 UPS. Actually, it costs more UPS, but I'm not making a profit out of that. And the next batch of information packets is going out tomorrow or the next day, so be very patient. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Hello, Kurt. Like your program very much.
Well, thank you.
Ron in Texas.
Hi, Ron.
Now, I have a couple of things for your home doers.
Okay.
I have a beautiful surplus catalog, which some of your listeners may want to send for.
Okay, everybody get your pencils ready.
I have been to this, it's called the Surplus Center. I've been there and I've seen their warehouses, and believe me, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Surplus Center, P.O. Box 82209, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68501. They have a well-illustrated catalog. Oh, goodness, it's almost a half an inch thick, and it's yours for the asking.
They send it to you free?
Yep.
Good.
I just received today catalog number 267, 1994 edition.
A lot of good stuff in there. Military surplus?
It's everything that you can imagine. There's a lot of hydraulics, there's motors, there's meters, there's relays, there's, how would you say, home protection devices.
Yes.
And I'm just thumbing through the catalog right now, Kurt.
Well, now that you've aroused their interest, why don't you give the address again?
Oh, sure. Be glad to. Be glad to. Surplus Center, P.O. Box 82209, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501.
Well, they can't go wrong for a 29-cent stamp.
Not really, but here's another one.
Yeah.
And these folks, I've done business with them also in the past. You have to write to them and ask them for what you need. They do not have a catalog, but they also have, I would say, mostly electrical and electronic stuff.
Well, do they have a phone number? That'd be a lot easier than writing.
Yes, I'll give it to you.
Okay, why not just give the phone number and forget the address?
Okay, it's Glenwood Sales, and the phone number is 716-328-1600.
Well, you see, I do that because I hate it for people to write to me and ask me if I've got something. It's usually something even weirder than most of my stuff. And I don't like to shine them on, but I don't like to be paying postage telling them that I don't have what they want.
I understand. And I think these folks would also appreciate a call.
Well, okay then.
And that seems to be all for now. Enjoy listening, and we'll continue.
Well, thank you for calling.
You bet.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, incidentally, in my reading, I went and dropped a line. And let me go back over just 2 lines so you can pick it up. Another thing wrong with the majority of such courses is their specialization. The course and the equipment you get is worthless for any other application. That's very important because you order a lot of stuff you're not going to be able to use if you don't get into the business, and you've just wasted money and you got stuff sitting around. Okay, again, my phone number is 501-437-2963. And quite a few of you have been ordering the Corona grain mill, and I'll just be happy that when you finally receive them, because they are really a good bargain. And also the ones that you're going to be getting for a while now are the Super Deluxe High Hopper. Now, the ones who ordered first will get the regular one, which holds about a pound, but the High Hopper one holds about 2 pounds. And but the thing is, they ran out of the low hopper, but that they were nice enough to throw in the others for the same price until they can get some more. So if you ordered the ones with the low hopper, don't be disappointed because you got what you ordered. And if you order now, you get the high hopper, you're just getting something extra. So let's get incidentally, the frequency, in case you just happened onto the program and you didn't get down the frequency, it's 5.810 megahertz. So write that down if you want to tune in again and think you might not be able to find it. So call me at 501-437-2963. Now, for a subscription to U.S. Militia, which you get the first 3 issues to start and then 9 more as they come out, then you send $35 to P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas 72611. And if you'd like to subscribe to Shoestring Entrepreneur, which tells you how to sell anything you can make or grow, then send $15 and to the same address. I'll get back on that. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Yes, how you doing? I have a quick question for you. This is Mike Pisani calling.
Okay, Mike.
This is WWCR, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a Monitoring Times magazine that lists the schedules for your shows.
Yes.
I need to ask you, what is the difference between WWCR number 1 and number 3?
You'd have to call the station. I don't have the slightest idea.
Oh, you don't?
No. See, I'm in Arkansas, and they're in Nashville.
Oh, I see. Okay, because I'm trying to follow this program that has the golden age of radio.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be on your frequency at this time.
Yes.
And the last couple of nights I haven't heard it, so I was just trying to find out.
Well, I don't have their phone number handy. I'm sure you could look it up in the book. Well, maybe my producer is getting their phone number. Their phone number is 615-256-2701.
2701.
Yes, you call them and they can give you that information, but I don't think anybody else on their radio program would be able to help you.
I see, okay. Well, I've been listening to your show, and it's fantastic, and I will continue.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you order the packet.
I definitely will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now.
Okay.
Okay, the phone number again is 501-437-2963. The frequency is 5.810 megahertz. The address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And if you subscribe to Shoestring Entrepreneur for $15, you'll get a whole packet of back issues of The Survivor, the closing volume, and start with Shoestring Entrepreneur, after which you'll get 11 more, and it'll tell you how you can start in business even if you're in a wheelchair. So it's really something that anybody would want, especially if your job is headed for Mexico. So I think you'd better think about subscribing to just... And also, oops, here's another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Hello, this is Chris from Missouri.
Hi, Chris.
I wanted to know if you stay in contact with any of the other so-called survivalist writers, and if you could give me a brief opinion on your views as opposed to theirs for the audience. And also, have you heard of a book called The Owner Built Home and The Owner Built Homestead by Ken Kern?
It rings a bell, and it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's out of print, but I would highly recommend it to anybody out there.
Yes.
I had a very difficult time getting it, but it was very useful for me.
Well, if it's out of print, it might be pretty hard to get.
Yes.
You probably... Well, if do you have the publisher?
Yeah, it's Scribner. Scribner publishes it.
Scribner. Well, now, a lot of times with the big publishing companies, they'll print a good book. That is good to you and me. But if it doesn't really grab the mainstream, then they'll let it go through one printing, and they're not going to print it again unless they figure that it's going to have a broader audience. But if they figure that, like if they print 10,000 and it takes them a year to sell the 10,000, then they're not going to print it again because they just don't want the book on their shelves.
Sure. I agree. Well, you know, the reason I wanted to mention is because it was invaluable for me when I am still trying to build my house by myself and also trying to get a homestead going in Missouri. No other book except for the Survivor volumes has helped me better than these.
You've got the Survivors?
Yes, I have volume 1 and 2.
Well, you better get 3 and 4. They're fantastic.
Yes, I will. I plan. That's on my list of things to do.
Yes. And on this, it might be good for someone to write the Scribners and see if they would give the publishing rights to somebody else who directed their material to the specific market. See, Scribners doesn't direct their material to any market at all. They just put it in bookstores and
see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, but if it's not mainstream, then it can be an extremely valuable and desirable book. But if they can't sell a certain amount of copies on their first printing very quickly, then they don't bother with it.
Well, again, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I don't get to talk to writers that I admire that much.
Well, now, okay, let's go on with the other writers. See, I'm probably the most hated person in the survivalist field, and because I have I'd like to save the best of our species when the civilization collapses, and most of the writers in the field talk about a depression.
Yes.
See? And they want you to think that you can buy your way into you can't buy survival.
Right.
You have to work. It just the picture comes to mind of a family living in a hole in the ground with a whole stack of freeze-dried foods and a lot of semi-automatics and so on like that, and a generator, and they're going to wait until everything blows over and someone else is going to rebuild for them, and that is so stupid.
Yes, I agree. However, your views seem to go closer to Ragnar Benson in a way.
Well, I've never communicated with Ragnar, but I guess he's a nice enough fella.
He seems to view the same way as you do in terms of the hard work it's going to take and the simple things one can do, relatively simple, that needs to be done rather than a lot of complex, like you said, freeze-dried foods and a lot of ammunition. And that
Yeah. Well, he's connected with people I despise.
I see. I didn't realize that.
And if you just like Ragnar's, one thing I don't like about his books, he writes about trapping animals.
Yes.
And my position on that is don't trap them, raise them.
Ah, yes, very good. Yeah. More or
And
less.
besides, traps catch cats and dogs and other pets and animals that you wouldn't want to eat or use their skins.
Uh-huh.
And I'm totally against trapping. I'm a conservationist. I'm an environmentalist. Oh, yes. Rush Limbaugh people hate me, too.
Well, that falls along, I guess, closer to the lines of Sun Bear, I guess, or the Indian advocates that say that we should use the earth wisely and not just to wipe everything out, I guess.
Well, my ancestors were Cherokee. Maybe that helps me think the way I do.
I see. Well, again, thanks for the program, and it's a pleasure talking with you.
Okay. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, again, my phone number is 501-437-2963. And the address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And again, I urge you to either to subscribe to U.S. Militia, the only magazine for community defense. It tells you how to make your own weapons, like, for instance, a shotgun for less than $5. And oops, here's another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Yeah, Mr. Saxon.
Yes.
I was wanting to order your introduction packet. I want to know, do you want check, money order, or
whatever we'll spend.
Sir?
Whatever we'll spend.
Oh, whatever we'll spend. Okay.
Whatever's convenient for you.
Yes, sir. Well, I had never heard you say so. I just didn't know.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, some people say just send cash, and I'd rather people didn't send cash, because if somebody in the post office steals it, then how can I prove I never got it?
Yes, sir. That's
But, of
right.
course, we do get a lot of cash, and naturally we honor it, because I would rather have you for a customer than steal $10 from you.
Yes, sir. Well, I believe that, too. Been
Yeah.
listening to you for a couple of months. Really enjoyed the show, me and a friend of mine.
Well, what do you do?
Oh, we work. I don't have a job, just a regular job.
Well, get a business of your own. If you got a friend, then make partners with him and get a business of your own. Because what kind of job? That's what I mean.
I repair saw blades.
Well, now that's good. Now, but the Survivors has articles on repairing saw blades.
Really?
Why don't you set up your own saw blade repair shop?
I have thought about that several times.
Well, you can do it. Look, if your boss trusts you and figures that you're making a profit for him, why don't you trust yourself?
I've thought about that myself.
Well, you do that.
I sure have.
I mean, your boss is probably a great guy, but start on your own. Of course, now don't leave your boss in the lurch or anything like that.
Oh yeah. I know. My friend, he's a farmer. Does a lot of farming. Lives way back in the woods, and he found you on the radio and told me about you. Really enjoy your program.
Well, I'm glad.
Well, that's all I want to know. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye for
you.
now.
Thank you for your program.
Sure enough.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, again, the phone number is 501-437-2963, and the address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And again, if you really ought to get that introductory packet for $10. It's $5 refundable on either subscription, and of course the same address, P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas. And here's another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Yes, about 1988, after studying about 20 years, I located our money in the U.S. Constitution. It's a very small article here. I wonder if I could read it quickly.
Well, if it's a very small article, and if you can read quickly.
Okay. I start out here, a quote by Abraham Lincoln. Money is a creature of the law. The Constitution is our Union contract. One would believe that the U.S. Constitution would protect the Union of States and the public's credit. It does. This is well worth knowing. So listen. All money represents debt. If there were no debt, there would be no need for money. Value for value is barter, and that's clumsy. Gold, having intrinsic value, is a form of barter, and as such is not real money. No credit, no debt. The money in the U.S. Constitution, our Union contract, is revealed in the use of the word credit. The word credit is used 3 times in the body of the U.S. Constitution. The credit is first assigned to the United States, a collective states' right. Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 2. To make us a nation, the states individually cannot issue bills of credit. Article 1, Section 10. The states, however, can receive full, 100% faith and credit for all state acts. Article 4, Section 1. Should this credit system not be carried out, then the 9th and 10th Amendment will turn the 100% full faith and credit over to we the people.
Well, you see, we the people don't have anything to say about anything anymore. We don't. Now, you know that. I mean, we've got Clinton for a president. Isn't that proof enough?
Which way are you going to jump?
Well, you don't jump. You stay where you are, or else you leave for a rural area and start a business of your own, produce something so that you... Now, production is money. That's what I call real money. What you produce is your money.
Well, it is if you can sell it. Now, if the
if you produce something that your neighbors want, you can certainly sell it.
No, you can't. You maybe have to barter it. They've got a barter system going on in a couple of the northern states.
There's nothing wrong with bartering. My granddad, during the Depression, did most of his business by barter, and they...
Wrong with sleds either, but wheels are better. And the United States gives us the best kind of a money system you can have, which is full faith and credit. And when you use your credit, you're in debt. Now, when you're born, you must start breathing. And to breathe is to keep your credit good with the laws of nature, and nature's God, and that's where your first line of credit comes from. We're a government who honors the laws of nature and nature's God. It's in our Declaration of Independence.
Well, I know, but you see, the Declaration and the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are beautiful documents. Have you ever read the Russian Communist Constitution?
I swore to defend and uphold the U.S. Constitution. The Russian Constitution, who do they give their money to? They have the money system like we have. They could not get into debt under their Constitution. Our Constitution was captured by the people who run communism and this country too, because they captured your credit and mine. When you breathe, you don't breathe just to keep your life going. You breathe in order to pay off the bankers. When they capture your credit, which comes to you from the Creator, and they take over that credit, you're serving 2 masters.
Well, what are you afraid of?
Sir?
What are you afraid of?
Well, I've been living hand to mouth ever since I've been alive.
Well, why don't you start you a business?
I have been in business for 30 years.
Well, what
kept going up on everything. And in order to stay in business, I had to go up. And when you go up, you knock yourself out of business. And today, our big dinosaurs are these big corporations and these monuments these bankers built in themselves in all the cities. That's to put money in circulation. How would you put money into circulation?
I'm not interested in putting money into circulation. I'm interested in producing things that people want. And then, as I told one of the other callers, whatever we'll spend, that's all that matters.
So why do you sell books on survival? Isn't that what people want?
I want people to survive. That's why I sell books on...
We gave up the best survival document we have, and that's the Constitution. I asked around. I said, do you think your license to drive is more important than your Constitution? And they say, oh, yeah.
Of course it is.
Drive our car. And so you give up. In the Bible, Esau gave up his inheritance for a mess of Red's pottage, and we have too. Because when we get into debt, we get into debt to strangers. We don't get into debt one another. Our money should be labeled a we owe us note.
Well, all right. I just wish you the best of luck with that message, and I have help.
I wish you could understand what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't. But
I hope our Constitution, or maybe you live under something like the UN Constitution.
Well, I don't think so, because I'm pretty well armed.
Well, I may not either, because I may not survive it.
Well, I will.
Well, I think you will too, but I don't think you're going to help too much unless you go back to our Constitution.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Uphold it.
Okay. My phone number again is 501-437-2963. Here's another call. Thank goodness. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Hi there. Hi there, Kurt. I was interested in knowing if we have any examples of fall of a major civilization, of a modern type civilization?
Oh, well, let's see. There was the National Socialist Empire. There was the Confederate States of America, the Communist Empire. Let's see, Somalia. Just all over Africa. There's been revolutions in South America for the past 50 years. I think there's about 150 full-scale wars going on around the planet. Now, civilization, you talk about world civilization, that's never happened before. But see, your town is your civilization. If you have a flag representing your town, if it's just a village or if it's a small country, you can call it a civilization. At least it's your culture medium in which you breathe and have your being. And when it stops working and you are running around scrabbling for food, then your civilization has collapsed. And the Communist Empire, I think, is a very good example. It has been being kept up mainly by America and Europe so that things don't get out of hand. So as long as they have those missiles. But I'll tell you, buddy, if the Russians didn't have those missiles pointed at us, the Russians would be eating each other, not just their cats. I think that's a pretty good example.
One thing that I had read from history was well, after World War I, you had the chaos in Germany. However, once the German mark got to a point where it was virtually without value whatsoever, the government quickly put up a lot of the lands that they owned as collateral for a new currency, and things kind of quieted down after that, so there wasn't total cannibalism, throughout Germany. But I'm kind of wondering whether or not your insistence on fleeing to the hills, so to speak, is warranted.
Well, I do not want anyone to run for the hills. That's not the idea. In fact, that's the worst thing you can do. The idea is to move to a rural area that's a low population density. See, that's the key to it, where the farmland can support the populace. Now, if you're living in New York City, the farmland surrounding New York City isn't going to support anybody. But if you live in Arkansas or Missouri or some of the northern states that don't have too many people, the farmland surrounding the towns can support the populace. But don't run for the hills, because Daniel Boone died a long time ago, and my example of 100 Daniel Boones chasing the same deer applies to people who want to run for the hills.
Mm-hmm. Even if you were in an area where there was enough arable land for the population, given that most people don't know how to farm anyway, I don't know if that would make a lot of difference.
Oh, you learn how to farm? Oh, you may not learn how to be a commercial farmer, but you can certainly learn how to be a gardener you can learn the basics from the books that I sell. I'm not into agribusiness. I'm not even encouraging agribusiness, but your little homestead, you get you an acre of ground someplace, and you make plenty enough for yourself and your neighbors. And, of course, once the crunch hits, your neighbors are going to get on track.
Are you suggesting that perhaps the main concern for those of us living in urban areas would be a steady increase in unemployment to the point where it would be not viable to live in a city anymore?
Well, it's hardly viable to live in a city anymore as it is. I have TV. I watch the nightly news. I wouldn't live in any city. And when I would go on TV programs in Chicago and New York, over the years, every time I go back, it's dirtier and more violent. And when my wife goes back to Houston, every time she gets sick because the air is so bad. We have good air here. And in Houston, more places are boarded up. Whole business blocks are boarded up. Buildings are boarded up. The people are uglier and dirtier and rottener. The cities are just like the lower colon of the body. They collect all the refuse of society. You don't want to live in that way. You're a very intelligent person. You have a high IQ, I can tell. So why don't you use it? Don't go down with the herd. What do you do?
Let me just ask you one other question. If as far as perhaps looking to a town or farm area beyond the urban expanse, you've apparently moved well beyond any urban expanse, but is that your suggestion? Get far beyond any city, or perhaps out in the farmlands, but nevertheless within commuting distance of the city?
Not necessarily commuting distance of the big city. I wouldn't want to live within 100 miles of Chicago, for instance, but or Houston. But if you, where I am, I've got 75 miles of armed hillbillies between me and the next large city, which is Springfield, Missouri. And the people in Springfield won't have the mobility to get to me, and their ammunition wouldn't last that long. So I'm in very good shape. But I asked you what you did, and I don't mean to be personal. It's none of my business. Just give me, as an example, what do you do for a living?
I'm a hospital technician.
Well, we have a big hospital in Boone County. You can work here as well as you can work where you are. If you have a skill, especially in the medical arts, friend, you are in great demand all over the country, and you don't need to live out in the woods to practice your skill.
Oh, I realize that. Sure.
So there's no reason that I can see for you staying in an urban area. Besides, you would be in great demand as things get worse.
Okay, well, I'll keep listening. So thanks much for the info.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Bye for now. Okay, again, the phone number is 501-437-2963. The address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. Here's another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Hi, I'm of the Hebraic persuasion, and I'd like to know how you identify Jewish people.
Well, I don't believe there is such a thing as a Jew. Because, let's see, I think it's in the book of Ezra where the Jews were released from Babylonian captivity. They went back to Jerusalem, and they found a holy book that they hadn't taken with them. And the book said that all of the men who had married Babylonian women would have to send back their children and their wives. Now, obviously, there must have been many Jewish women who had decided to marry Babylonian men, and their children would not be Jews. So if the Jews who married Babylonian women couldn't allow their wives or their children to be Jews, then I would say that any mixture would cancel them out. So as time went on...
Sorry to interrupt, but then you're saying that the whole state of Israel is not Jewish? Is that what you're saying? Are you denying that?
I'm saying that they're Israelis. They're not Jews.
And they profess to be Jews?
You can profess anything you want. But by the Bible, they are not Jews because...
It's also true that you're kind of racist and against Jewish people?
Well, why would you say that?
Based on what I've heard over the past couple of days.
Well, I don't. Well, recall it to me. I don't remember saying anything against the Jews.
How about stormtrooper?
What do you mean, stormtrooper?
You didn't say anything about stormtroopers.
I used to be a stormtrooper, yes, but I had nothing against people.
And do you not agree that the basic point of being a stormtrooper is to be against Jews and blacks?
No. My point of being
you're a lone rebel. Then is that what you're trying to say? You are not following what most loyal stormtroopers would do?
Well, I guess I was...
You're doing? So you were a rebel stormtrooper?
No, I was in the best unit in the whole country. We got more headlines than anyone else.
Is it true that you've been harassing the JDL?
I don't have anything to do with the JDL.
Oh, really?
No, I was anti-communist. That's why I joined the party. The Jews had nothing to do with it. There was even a Jew in the in my unit.
Oh, he must have been a fake Jew. But you're saying that there was a Jew in your organizational unit, but then
Bill Ross
saying that Jews don't really exist.
Well, you got to call them something. But technically, Jews don't exist.
Maybe do you use the word kike? Does that come up or anything like that?
No, you use the word kike.
I
don't.
Just checking with you.
Yeah.
So you were a stormtrooper, huh?
Yes.
And what did you do as a stormtrooper?
Well, I pulled down communist flags, Viet Cong flags. I beat up leftists who were wanting a victory for the Viet Cong. That was my job. I did it very well, and I enjoyed it. And I don't apologize for it, and I'd do it again.
Did you wear a little brown shirt and have a little mustache or anything?
Well, it wasn't a little brown shirt, and I didn't wear a mustache at that time.
Uh-huh. And if you saw Jewish people walking down the street that were communists, would that make them double bad?
No, if they were communists, I'd sort of laugh at them because it's sort of passé now, isn't it, to be a communist?
So wouldn't you agree that as a stormtrooper that you really don't have a job now that most communists are gone? Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know of any American Nazi party in existence today worthy of note. Do you?
Well, I got another question for you, too. If your whole society, I guess, took over the United States, where would you put the Jews?
I don't know why we would put the Jews anywhere. They would.
But aren't they in control of the money? Aren't they the money changers?
No.
Oh, well, maybe I heard wrong then.
Well, you've been listening to the conspiracy theorists.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the conspiracy theorist sees a Jew in his closet and an FBI man under his bed and an ATF man in his attic, and he's the one that thinks about things on that line. I don't. If you've been listening to me, I think you ought to have been listening more carefully.
Well, it's I've been trying to listen as much as I could. I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing. So,
well, send for my intro packet and you'll get a better idea, and I think you would enjoy it.
You know, I ought to. I've never gotten an intro packet from a real-life stormtrooper.
Well, I'm not a stormtrooper anymore. That was in 1967.
Oh, okay. But you're an ex-stormtrooper.
Well, yes.
I'd be honored.
Okay, you do that, buddy. We'll get along.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. My phone number again is 501-437-2963. And the address again is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. And send for the intro packet costing $10 with a $5 refund on either subscription. Kurt Saxon here.
Hello, Kurt.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, I'd be more interested in hearing useful information about small businesses and shoestring entrepreneurs than I would about listening to some of your call-ins there arguing about abstract ideas when they already know in advance what they want to say.
Well, I know, but I like them. I can't help it. They show a little class. At least they don't just pout. They call up and they take me to task for this or that, and they're part of the show.
Well, they're obviously perfect since they have so much to take you to task about. But listen, that's not why I called, Kurt. Some of the people who called with very specific questions intrigued me. The gentleman who was talking about a book that's out of print,
yes,
have found used bookstores to be priceless in terms of finding resources that are not available at the big chain bookstores.
Oh, yes.
Most of the stuff in used bookstores is junk to a great extent.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while you find something that's really useful.
Well,
and there are people who live on boats who try to be self-sufficient, like the people who go into the hills, and they have the same sort of trouble. You cannot get a completely self-sufficient guy on a boat to live off the sea any more than you can have 100 Daniel Boones in the woods all looking for the same deer.
That's right.
They have the same sort of problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people greatly overlook the practical day-to-day difficulties of surviving somewhere out in the middle of nowhere or on a boat, wherever it might be, and they forget that a simple thing like a subsistence business where you deal with your neighbors makes a great deal of sense.
Yes.
I started my own small business about 15 years ago.
What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a writer, and I publish a newsletter. And
well, what is it?
Pardon?
Maybe my listeners would like to subscribe.
I sort of doubt it. It's possible. You and I spoke earlier today, and
I don't remember.
Yeah, what I really called about was to say that before I started my own business, I used to think that people who had their own businesses were just belly aching when it came to government paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you that a lot of my time is spent filling out forms from the local tax collection people, from the state to unemployment benefits people, from everybody in the world, the federal government quarterly forms, monthly forms. any small business, if you can possibly avoid getting into any of that paperwork, if you can avoid having employees, if you can avoid any paperwork, you're well off. You'll spend a lot more of your time being productive.
Well, I have my wife do all that, so it's not a problem.
Well, it's easy for you. I don't have one of those, but it just strikes me that paperwork is greatly underestimated by people who do not have their own businesses.
Yeah.
The thing you can do to minimize it is to your credit. I've seen the latest copy, actually the first copy of the Shoestring Entrepreneur.
Yes.
It's fabulous, and I hope you have a great deal of success with it.
Well, did you subscribe, or did we just send you one?
Give me a sample copy, and I'm going to be subscribing.
Okay, good for you.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. Hello, Kurt Saxon here again, 501-437-2963. And the address again is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas, 72611. Another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Yeah, I like the show.
Glad.
There's one thing, though, that's been troubling me, and that was when you endorsed the Bill Cooper show. Because I think he's a fraud, and a lot of the stuff he puts out simply isn't true. Like,
Yes.
He has a theory in the Kennedy assassination that Kennedy was shot by the driver in the front in some sort of alien conspiracy.
Yeah, well, now, I never heard that. I think it's cute.
It's more entertaining.
We got to have some comedy relief if he wants to put out something like that. And if I don't think he's serious about it, but bless his heart, it's his show. He's paying to put it out. And so, just keep listening to it.
No, I listen to it sometimes. It's pretty entertaining, but...
Yeah. Well, if it's entertaining, what more do you want?
It's better than watching some of the crap on TV, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I think he's a good guy. He has his opinions, and I probably wouldn't agree with a lot of his opinions any more than he agree with mine, but he's paying for his show, and you don't pay a nickel to watch it or listen to it. So just let him express his opinions, and when you get this thing about the Kennedy's driver doing the shooting, well, I wish it were true.
Yeah, it'd be a whole lot simpler then, and it wouldn't be a big mystery.
Well, maybe somebody else would come up and say that Jackie shot him because didn't she try to get away?
Yeah, that's right. She ran off the back.
Of course. Now, what was she trying to get away from if she wasn't guilty?
Maybe he can throw that into it so they teamed up.
Well, I'd more suspect her. Besides, they didn't get along. Him fooling around with Marilyn Monroe. Maybe Marilyn Monroe was the cause of it.
Could be. Well, I enjoy the show, and I'm going to send away for the packet.
Well, I'm glad. You're
going
to love it.
Let you go and let someone else get in.
Okay, buddy.
See you.
Okay, bye-bye. Again, the phone number is 501-437-2963, and the address is P.O. Box 95, Alpena, Arkansas. Here's another call. Hello, Kurt Saxon here.
Yeah, I'm calling from Monroe, Louisiana.
Yes?
And I want to, first of all, get the proper address for you guys, and I want to know about particularly about the survival trend that he's speaking on now.
Well, you'll learn all about that if you send $10 for the information packet with its $5 refund on either subscription.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but tell me the proper address. Who do I address my letter to?
Well, Kurt Saxon will do, KurtSaxon. As long as you got the zip code right and the name spells anywhere near.
Well, the only thing I had was militia.
Oh, well, that was the U.S. militia. Now, that's different. That's tells you all about how to make weapons and everything like that, and you'd get a sample copy of it, and you'd love it. Oh, I tell you, living in Louisiana, you would just love it. Most of my customers are from Louisiana.
Well, I want to tell you
down
something.
There, bright folks.
Hey, let me tell you something happened down here that not only makes me so damned angry, but also scared.
Yeah.
And I've been in 2 wars, my friend, and I saw combat.
Yeah.
Today, I called a friend of mine who has a gunsmith license.
Mm-hmm.
He fixes guns. He'll buy you ammo. He'll get you a gun here and a gun there. No big deal. He works out of his house. Today, the alcohol and tax guys went up there and told him that it would be in his best interest if he shut down his business.
Did they give him a reason?
but it'd be in his best interest if he shut down his business. And he told me, he said, I hate to do this, Mr. Benson. My name is Bill Benson.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I hate to do this, Mr. Benson, but he said, I'm out of business. He said, they scared me. I got a wife and 2 kids.
Well, why would they scare him? Why would they tell him that he ought to close down his business?
They said in his best interest.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, I understand that for you and I. I mean, but this is a little guy that works in a paper mill up in Bastrop, Louisiana.
Oh, I'm getting the idea now.
And all they did was walk up there and threaten him.
Well, now, what did they threaten him with?
Really, with the unknown.
Well, now see, that's
all they did was threaten him. He said,
"Well, you see, they're public servants."
The cops told him it'd be in your best interest to get out of this business, and they left. And when they walked off, they said, "Now, nice house you have here, Mr. Jones."
Mm-hmm. Well,
that I want to tell you that's what's going on, and if it's happening down here in this little dinky place of Louisiana, it's happening right now all over the world. And this is all over the United States. And this is the first case that I've heard about something. I've heard something like this happen. So that's one reason I called you folks, and maybe you can put the word out.
Well, I appreciate it, but you see, you didn't give enough information. I have had several interviews with ATF, and as far as I'm concerned, most of them are nice fellows, but they are public servants.
Yeah.
And I don't take a lot of lip from a public servant or any kind of servant. And see, we pay their bills. You understand?
I understand that.
Now, I don't know. As a gunsmith, someone in the gun business to any degree, he's paying their bills, and so I think there'd have to be something more to it than that. Maybe they weren't really ATF men. Maybe they were just a couple of jokers.
He knows them. These are ATF guys.
Okay, well, why don't you tell...
All they did was put a shrouded threat on him.
Okay, now, if he's that timid...
Oh, yeah.
He should not be that timid. Is he an American? Was he born here?
Well, most certainly. He's
okay.
He's been up there for a couple of 100 years.
Okay, now if he's then he shouldn't be that timid. Tell him to get
I'm trying to tell you, my friend.
Okay, well look.
Is that these people are going around making threats that intimidate the public, and who in the hell can take? This guy probably makes what $200-300. Hell, if he makes $200 a week, he's lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And for the federal guys to come down here and jump on some poor little guy that works in a paper mill, trying to make a couple of bucks at home, buying and selling and swapping guns and ammunition and reloading and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think you people up there ought to be aware of this and say something about it, and get the people raising hell with their representatives.
Well, but the thing is, he didn't tell you why they said that, and that to me would not be a threat. If they had told me that it would be in my best interest if I should get off the radio or I should stop publishing the Poor Man's James Bond, I'd laugh at him. Doesn't he know how to laugh? Doesn't he have a sense of humor at all?
Yeah, he's funny as a crutch.
Okay, then tell him to go into their office and laugh at him.
Well,
unless he has committed a federal crime.
That's easy for you to say. Except down here in Louisiana, I think we're the poorest state in the country. We're leading the population we're leading all the other states, and everything is bad.
Yeah.
And people down here are barely hanging on with their fingernails like this guy.
Well, I know that.
Nice for you to sit up there in perfect comfort with all the legal expertise at your disposal and tell somebody like this poor little guy. Yeah, to go down there and fight them.
I didn't say fight them.
But argue with them.
He didn't argue with them, did he?
I don't know.
Okay, see, I don't think you know. I don't think you know the whole story. Maybe he didn't tell you the whole story. Maybe he's a rear in his license. Maybe he let his license expire.
Well, no, he did not. I know that.
Well, look, I was
buying stuff from him a week ago.
Yeah, well, I see so many people in the gun business literally getting away with murder, cheating, stealing, everything like that, and they wouldn't be intimidated the way you indicated he was. So
a nice average guy.
Okay, look, let's just go along with you that he is a great fella. But I think what he told you, he was mixed up somehow. Now he's got you all stirred up.
You know what? When you jump on something like that, I mean, it's completely wrong.
Oh, you mean, okay, so you say that your friend said that the ATF told him that it would be in his best interest if he'd go out of business.
That's right.
Okay, and so I'm supposed to make a big deal out of it and say they're attacking us from all angles?
I think so.
Well, you see, now that's you better think about that.
Hey, that's what's happening.
Well, what? You didn't... I mean, how can I express it? Nothing happened.
Okay.
Look, okay.
Alcohol and tax guys run rampant over any damn thing they want to.
They weren't running rampant if he was telling the truth, if he had the story straight. They didn't even threaten him. They didn't close him down. They made a comment. Maybe they didn't like him.
Listen, I don't know all of that. But I know this, that the guy is out of business, and he told me, and I've been a customer of his for 3 or 4 years.
Okay, well, now maybe he had a reason
down
for
there,
and
I had an order with him, and he said, I'm out of business now. He said, I got threatened this afternoon by the alcohol and tax guys, and they scared the hell out of me. He said, I got a wife and 2 kids to take care of, so I'm out of it.
Well, he couldn't have told you the whole story.
Well, I don't know. That's what he told me.
See?
So
I want you to think
I don't want to get
it.
in hassle with you, friend. I thought I was just putting out some information you ought to hear.
Well, I appreciate it.
You don't want to accept it? Then the hell with it.
Well, I do accept it for what it was. But the thing is, it's not enough to get bothered about. I think that if they closed him down, then there's more to the story than he told you, because nobody's going to go out of business just because someone says that it'd be to his best interest to be out of business.
You don't know what a police threat is, particularly down here.
Well, if you had U.S. militia, you wouldn't be worried about a police threat.
Well, that's why I called you up. I want to get it.
Okay.
Now I know how to do it. I'm going to send you $10.
Okay. Well, when you get that, then I think that you'll sort of talk to your friend, get him back in business. See, let's get him back in business.
Well, I'm really disappointed in your approach to this. But
well,
anyway,
you
I
didn't
want to
tell
know
me
about
enough.
the militia business, and I'm going to address a letter to Kurt Saxon and all the other. I got the rest of his address, and I'm going to send him $10.
Well, that's me. You're talking to Kurt Saxon.
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you $10 in cash, so the damn cops won't know about it.
Well, don't make it so that the postal people can see the cash through the envelope.
I understand that.
Okay.
And by God, I want to tell you, if I was in your place and somebody sent me $10 or $10,000 in cash, I'd stick it in my pocket. I wouldn't tell those bastards anything.
Well, that's not my problem. I pay my little taxes, and that way I keep the vermin off me.
Yeah, are you on the radio now?
Yes, I am. So are you.
Oh, I am? Well,
yes.
I didn't know that, and I'm sorry I cussed.
Well, no, that's all right. Bless your heart, you're upset. But I want you to think about I want you to talk to him more about that and tell him that we're going to put him back in business.
Yeah, I'm going to call him and tell him that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Now it's sign-off time. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So this is Kurt Saxon saying goodbye and be good.